going on, y'all? This is the Blank Check Group. My name is Ladarius.
My name is Mark, and we created this group to teach people how to make passive income outside of their 9 to 5, and we do that through the forms of using stocks, crypto, forex, and surveys. And while we are the founders of this company, it was one person in particular that had a major impact of how this group was created. And I'm going to hand it off to Ladarius so he can talk about it.
Yeah, so this group was created off the recommendation of someone that I used to work with in insurance with. Her name was Brittany. Brittany, she saw that I was working on stocks on Instagram. I would post wins and gains here and there, and she asked me to teach her. At that time, I really didn't think about being able to teach anybody stocks. I was just doing it, posting on Instagram. But she asked me to teach her, and she said she would pay. When she asked me how much I charge, I didn't know what to charge her. So I just told her I charge $50. And so we end up sitting down for 3 hours, and she only paid me $50 at the time, which was cool for me because I didn't receive anything from teaching anybody stocks. But when she paid me the $50, I was just like, okay, cool. I can probably turn this into a business later on. But she gave me a lot of good compliments and reinforcement at the end. It was just like, hey, Ladarius, this is really good. You teach well. You should make a course. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can make a course and teach thousands of people all at the same time, just through a course that I can make one time. So I said, okay, cool. I sat down. I made some slides on Canva. I got on Zoom, and I recorded. Everything I used was free. So I made my first course, Stock Basics, for free. And after I made that course, I started to push it out. After all my friends and the people that's close to me bought it, I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I make more money? How can I make more money from just selling the course? I didn't know how to market. So I said, okay, let's have a free session where we teach people stocks, and then at the end, I'll offer my course. So that was the beginning of the Sunday sessions. And with the Sunday sessions, the first one, it wasn't 2 hours long. It was an hour long, and I just taught people what I knew. The same thing I did with Brittany, and I did it for free. And at the end, I would say, hey, if you need more reinforcement, or if you need somebody to hold your hand, I got a course. It's $40, $50, whatever the course was at the time. Go ahead and buy it, and it's going to teach you, stocks. People started to come to the session, to my surprise, after a while, after we had a couple of things happen, and over time, we built it out to where we have it at today. But at the beginning, we didn't have that many people. We had
about probably two of us, 2 or 3. It was probably mostly me, Ladarius, and his brother Lamendez would come, and we would just sit down on Sundays and talk about what stocks we're going to look at, and teach each other different charting patterns or anything like that. We would just continue to teach each other. And we would do that for, again, every Sunday. And eventually, Ladarius and I decided to try to make it more public and invite more people. So we went on to Instagram, started promoting it on Instagram, and then we created an Eventbrite. And with that Eventbrite, it just allowed people to buy tickets to our Sunday session. And all they would have to do is just log into the computer, and they'll be able to come, and we'll be able to teach them. That gained us a little traction. I really think, who was it? It was Anna who introduced us to Larry.
Yeah.
And Larry was like the fourth person to come to our Sunday session, and in that session, he was basically brand new, so we taught him basically the basics, and Larry actually watched me grow from the speaker I am today, or the speaker that I'm becoming, because at the very beginning, me speaking publicly was very hard to do. It was nerve-wracking, and I just didn't have the confidence to even begin to talk. I didn't even want to talk. I knew at the very beginning that when Sunday was coming around, I needed to prep for like a week before I can even speak, and it was very hard. I'm rambling on right now.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, and the crazy thing is that when he came in and he said that he wanted to do this, but he said he was afraid to speak. I'm like, cool, we can figure that out. And we started doing table topics, every now and again. If you don't know what table topics is, it's something real simple. Only thing you got to do is find a topic and talk on it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But you got to time yourself. And if you have somebody else, they can watch for ums, buts, ahs, whatever grammatical errors you want to count for. So we did that for a while. And people over time started to say, hey, yeah, Mark, they started to notice, like, send us comments and everything about Mark and how he's picking up on his speech. So that gave him confidence. And then, I mean, we just continued to do it over and over and over. So, Mark, speaking to that, what would you say from when you began and you joined the session, you felt like, you know, you wasn't confident, you couldn't speak, like, what changed up until this point? Like, what tips would you give for people that's where you were, that want to do something, but are afraid to do it because of something as small as being afraid to talk to people publicly?
Yeah. Take that leap of faith. Just do it. Don't let your fears get in the way. And whatever you're doing in life, like, stay consistent with it. Like, you can't think that you can do something one time and then that's going to be it. Because it's not. It's going to take a lot of heart and determination to see it through, and it's going to take consistency. Even the days that you don't want to do it, just got to do it. And it's just going to allow you to build a reputation for yourself that shows, like, hey, you're willing to pull in the work, and eventually the universe is just going to let everything take its own fold, and you'll be able to reap the benefits of all that hard work that you did. But the hard work has to happen first. So that's what I was saying.
That's a good point, man. That make me think about, like, what just happened yesterday. So yesterday we went skydiving. Like, what were you thinking? So before we get into the skydiving story and the highs and lows and all the crazy shit that was happening, how do you feel 10 minutes before you get on your bike and head to my house? Like, what were you thinking? Were you calm?
Yeah, 10 minutes before I got on my motorcycle to head to your house, I wasn't thinking about it like, oh, I'm about to jump out of the plane. I was relaxed. I wasn't nervous or anything. I was just cool-headed, cool, calm, and collect. What about you?
Man, I ain't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning. I woke up at like 7. Like, I was watching videos on YouTube, you know, listening to what people say. They was talking about the scariest part, and but some people was like, you just got to do it. So I'm like, man, if this man Mark don't show up on his bike, we ain't going. Like, I put a lot on your shoulders, because I had like 4 hours of sleep, and I'm like, man, I was thinking of every excuse, you know, in my mind to not go. And I was like, all right, if Mark show up, we said it was going to be at a certain time. If Mark pull up on his motorcycle, we going.
Mm-hmm.
But if Mark don't pull up on his motorcycle, I'm not going to call him and ask where he at. I ain't going to do none of that. Like, if you don't show up, we not going. And so when you pulled up, I was, you know, you saw me, I was acting like I was cool and waiting. But nah, man.
He was acting cool the whole time.
Bro, them videos made it worse. Like, when I got closer and closer, like, watching them a few hours before you do it was cool,
Yeah.
right? But watching it and thinking about it, like, I'm actually about to do what I just watched, I was like, nah, bruh. That's why, again, when you pulled up, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mark pulled up. You know, at least I ain't doing it by myself. So.
Yeah.
But what did you, so, all right, after you pulled up to the crib, we got in the whip, and we started heading there. Once we got there, how did you feel once we got there, you seen people, like, you know, parachuting in, jumping, the plane going, like, how did you feel at that point?
I was like, okay, I felt blah. I was just like, oh, okay, we're going to do this. It's cool. It's going to be a new experience. It's going to feel a little bit different from going really fast on the motorcycle. But so when we were waiting for our names to be called, and you was like, they said team 5, and it was like, that's our team. I was like, no, bro, they ain't give us a team yet. We don't know what team we are. He was like, no, that's our team. And I was just like, okay, calm down. They're going to call us out. They're going to tell us our name first. And you was so adamant about going to see. I kind of knew you was nervous, and I was like, this man is nervous. And it was just like, that was funny to me. I was like, this man is so nervous. But I didn't get nervous until the plane pulled up, and we all had to pack together 2 by 2 behind each other and squeeze together, and they took a lift off. And once they pulled that door open, and that wind just sucked all the air out the airplane, and we was like, what, 10,000 feet in the air, maybe 14? 14,000 feet in the air. That's when the fear kind of kicked in. But at that point, the fear for me was just too late to, like, pull back. I'm already up here.
Yeah. For me, like you said, yeah, I was nervous, man. I just didn't know how to control my nerves, because I'm like, normally I'm calm, but the more I seen people, I would look up and just see people, you know, dang, they like 10,000 feet in the air, parachuting down, and then I would hear them coming down. It sounded like a jet flying past you, and I'm like, man, that's going to be me in, like, you know, 30 minutes to an hour. That's going to be me doing that. So I started to, like, get in my head, like, bro, you really about to, when that's gonna look crazy when you look out that plane. When they open up that door and you look at that ground, that's gonna be the craziest thing. So I started to psych myself out. But after they put the harness on, I just knew like, all right, this harness on me. They not like once they, cause they do like I think a 16-point check or something. Yeah, where they lock you in. Once they do that and put the harness strap on you and everything, you locked in. So I'm like, bro, this is about to happen. So again, yo, once we got on that plane, man, bro, like, he was just like, yeah, you kind of tall, man. You might want to duck down. I'm like, bro, I don't even want to get over here. Like, duck down. But once we got on there, and I thought that was going to be, like, the worst. I was like, all right, cool. We on the plane. It's cool. Yeah. But when we got up to, 14,000 feet, and they opened that door, like you said, man, smelling that air up there, you like, yeah.
All right, so tell me about the experience when you first jumped out the plane. What you felt?
Bro, man, what, bro? When I, like, again, so we packed in this small plane, like you said. I'm the second person in line. So I know I'm going soon. The dude in front of me, when he jumped, it was his first time, too. So I'm trying to, like, gather a small amount of experience from him. Like, I'm trying to watch and see, like, if he gonna freak out, like, when he falling, how he look, all that. So he get to the edge of the plane. Once he jump out, like, it's like a vacuum just sucked him out the plane. I'm like, yo, so I, like, get to the edge. I crab walk to the edge. I'm looking over the edge, like, trying to see him. You drop so fast, like, you can see him for a second, but after that, you can't see him anymore. So at that point, I'm like, man, this is about to be me. So my instructor, like, moving me to the edge. He's like, hang your feet off. So I'm hanging my feet off, and then I look up. Somebody got a camera in my face. I'm like, yo. So on the video, y'all see the video, but on the video, you see me just like right before I jump, and then the guy with the camera in my face, I had to do something, so I just put my hand up, like acting like I wasn't afraid. Man, when he finally, because he rocked you like 3 times, once he rocked you on that 3rd time and you fall out that plane, you realize yo, like I'm really falling, like you, like. Again, that experience, like when people ask us about it, that'd be it's kind of hard to explain weightlessness, and you can't grab onto it's not you in the air, like it's nothing to grab on. You can't get your foot in, you can't get none of that. So we kind of falling like upside down, and I'm like, bro, I'm about to die. Like I'm just thinking like, man, this is tough. So, but yeah, jumping out, man, was the scariest part. Once we got to like terminal velocity, I was good, man. And then I started to, wild out and, try to do tricks and stuff after that. But that initial jump out the plane, that's the point of maximum fear. Like, it don't get any worse than that. You get what I'm saying? So, matter of fact, since we're talking about this, how can you, if you had to draw a parallel between starting the blank check group, being afraid of speaking in front of people publicly, like, could you draw a parallel between that and jumping out of airplane, skydiving? Like, what's the parallel for you?
Yeah. So jumping out of the airplane again, it was when you first about to jump out, the same way I had that same fearfulness of wanting to speak in public to people, that same fear came across when I got to the edge of that plane. Because again, I saw you jump out this plane, and again, like you said, the vacuum took you away, and you was just gone. You was there 1 second, and then the next second you was gone.
Yeah.
And that came into my mind, and that was scary. So when I got to the edge of it, those same feelings, like, the same fear that I had with public speaking came in. But once I jumped, that fear wasn't like there anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to conquer that fear. The same way I'm able to conquer the public speaking fear by just doing it, I'm able to do that by jumping out the airplane. So just doing it and having the confidence to jump out that plane, or having the confidence to talk to people in public or talk to people in a session, it's just going to build repetition, and you're going to just continue to get better and better at it. Granted, it's a little bit different parallel because I only jumped out of the plane once, but it's still that same fear was there, and that same sense of accomplishments after jumping out the airplane is the same feelings I feel anytime I do a public speaking. Every Sunday when I speak, every time we end Sunday, we call each other. I feel that same joy calling you, talking about the Sunday session, how well it went.
Right.
So it's the same. It has parallels.
Parallels. Yeah. For me, I would say, like, starting this whole thing is something that like once we got started with stocks, I had 100 thoughts in my mind that again was trying to stop me from doing it. I'm thinking like, all right, why would people learn stocks from me, right? Like, who am I to learn stocks from? Like, it's other people. Like the person that I learned stocks from, they, like 200,000 followers, people come to them, ask them questions, everything. And I'm like, I can't be that person, but I have the knowledge. So I was met with a wall that I had to just push myself over. And I think that drawing a parallel to skydiving, you get to that wall before you get on that plane. And I'm talking about a metaphorical wall, not a physical wall, but you get to a wall of feelings before you jump out that plane, and you just got to push past it. You got to realize that your mind is going to take you further than your body. Like your body, your heart might start beating out your chest. But then once you get to that point, you got to know like, all right, I can still even go past that. So, again, like, drawing parallels with the business, before I put out my first course, I was thinking, like, bro, when I put this course out and people buy this course, they're going to hear my voice and hear all the stuff I'm saying, and I can't do anything about it. I can't say, hey, let me go back and fix that. I can't do any of that, because once they pay their money, the course is gone, it's theirs, and whatever I said is whatever I said. So if they come back and say it sucked, whatever, that was on me. But, again, it was that built up fear, but eventually the more and more I did it, I'm like, okay, cool. And again, jumping out of an airplane, I was met with that same type of fear, to where it's like, bro, you don't know what's gonna happen. But I just locked in, and I said, look, I'm feeling a certain type of way, but I told myself that I would do something. So I said, regardless of how I feel, if I tell myself I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, regardless of what it is. And I think that once I started to move towards that, with the business and skydiving, that's when it made it easier. But for somebody that's trying to either go skydiving or start a business, I don't care who you are, you're gonna get to a point to where you feel like, all right, I need to do something, or I'm going to backpedal. So when you start to backpedal, it's like, all right, you backing off of what you really want to do, and you got to step up and actually do it. So that was one of the biggest things. Is like, look, no matter what it is, you say you're gonna do it. And so that's what I got from it.
Okay.
You got anything?
No, I got another question for you.
Okay.
You spoke about your courses, right, and having the fear of when you put it out there, and whoever buys it, they have they don't have any limit to what they can say about your course, or like how it was. The review they can give you is unlimited, right?
Yeah.
So with that, what do you do about bad reviews that you may have gotten for courses? Have you ever even gotten a bad review for one of your courses?
I won't say I've gotten a bad review, but I've received reviews where people are like, this is either too long or this is too short. Like Stock Basics in 60 Minutes, I made that to be able to teach you just the basics of stocks, to where at the end of the course, you can go to Robinhood, set up you a trade, buy you some stocks, and you can keep it moving. But some people felt like, oh, this person has an 8-hour long course and they charge, $1,000 for an 8-hour course. How can your, 1-hour course that's $40, $50 compete with a $1,000 course that's 8 hours long? And when I get situations like those, I just use them as points to learn from, right? I don't take them personally, because I'm not at the end. I'm not a finished product, right? I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and it's still going to be more courses. So I just say, okay, cool. If you feel like that about this course, just buy my next course, and I'll build whatever criticism you have into the thought process. You get what I'm saying? So that way I don't make it happen again. But that's a part of it. Like what we're doing, what we're building people at the beginning. We had people that we begged to, hey, come to the session, buy our course, check the course out. We joined the Discord for free. You get what I'm saying? Like, we was doing that, and over time, people started to realize, like, oh, this is really something now. They're really doing something. They're really making moves, and then more and more people started to come in. So, what do you do about bad reviews? Like, you get a bad review on a course or a bad review on a session, or your public speaking. How do you combat that?
I try to work on it and gain knowledge from the experience. I know one session I had, I tried to teach people about how to exercise call options, and it was like our worst meeting ever. I think I told Darius not even post this in the Discord.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, man, please don't post this in the Discord. But I think he still posted it anyway.
I did.
But it was just so horrible, because I tried to use and that's what you're gonna try different things. I know Steve Harvey talked about like how when he wants to implement a new joke into his show, what he does is he just adds that one joke and he just writes down on the pen if it hit with the crowd or not. If it didn't, he would just strike it off, and he would just continue to do that, add new jokes. He would just be striking them off. If they don't hit, or if they do hit, he would like leave a little check mark on them. And that's something that that's something that I was trying to do there. Like I was trying to see if I can implement a new topic into our Sunday session, but it was just too advanced. And I tried to use an analogy of sitting in a tennis shoe line and waiting. Let's say you're waiting in the line with tennis shoes, and you want to get out the line and you ask somebody to hold your spot for you, and when you come back, you'll pay them like double the amount of money. It just didn't work, and the person was just like, I don't like tennis shoes. Can you stick to stocks? And then it was just a whole thing. And I think Ladarius just ended up stepping over and just coming to help me out with that.
So, like, how did, like, in that moment, not now, looking back on it, of course we can, hindsight is 2020, but how did you feel in that moment? Like, as soon as you heard the comment,
yeah,
what are you thinking and what are you feeling?
Close that fucking computer. Just close that motherfucker. Just close
right.
it. You disconnected. Yeah. That's what I was feeling. I was just feeling like, a little bit of embarrassment. Because it made me feel like, damn, they think I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's not that I didn't know what I was talking about. It's just that I didn't know how to explain it in a basic way to them. Or just explain it in a way that they would be able to understand it. Like, it was just so compressed in my head that I couldn't, like, just get it out. And actually, she ended up saying that she brought it back up, like, in the Discord 3 or 4 weeks later about the exercising the contracts, because that was for the EDU trade.
Yeah.
And she actually brought it back up and said she wanted to learn. It was interesting. I just needed to teach her a little bit better on how to do it. But
yeah, crazy times, man. I remember that. But I mean, again, it goes back to the same thing. When you're trying to do something, it's gonna be those moments where you have hiccups and you have to learn, because some things you have to experience before. Like, there's no way that you would have knew that example didn't work until you tried it, right? Yeah. So again, the more people try stuff, the more you're gonna get told no, or told, you can't do it, whatever it is. But you just keep, it sucks like that, because people will tell you. Again, these people that you selling stuff to, if you selling something physical or digital, they have no obligation to lie to you. They're gonna tell you the truth. Like, if it sucked, they're gonna say it sucked, and then they'll use colorful language. They'll say whatever they want about it. So, but yeah, back to the courses. So, you got your first course with the survey course, right? The opinions to income course. How was it making your first course? Because a lot of people want to make a course. Like, they have courses. I've talked to people that have courses in their brain. I got 20 courses in my brain, but they can't make the first one. Mm-hmm. How did you feel making your first one?
At the beginning, nerve-wracking, because when you first think you want to make a course, in your mind, it seems so easy. It seems like, all I got to do is, record a video and just talk over it, that's it. But once you really sit down there, you make those slides, you figure out, like, the name of your course, you figure out your Canva, like, I call it the album cover, but your front page, your cover art, I like to call it the album cover. But once you figure out your album cover, and you start to go in the process of actually teaching or talking about the course or whatever you're teaching, like, for instance, I talked about surveys. So once I got into the topics of surveys, I learned that my first recording took me like an hour and 30 minutes to talk about surveys, and it just wasn't it, It shouldn't have been that long, and I had to end up condensing it and making it shorter and shorter and get a better version of it. But
yeah, I mean, it's making courses is definitely a tough thing, man. So I can definitely hit on that too. For instance, people think that when you make courses that it get easier. It don't get easier. Like,
somebody! He needs some milk.